Welcome to the Good Gaming's Pro Decks Paradigm Report for February 7th, 2017. This report will bring you up to date on the latest decks that the most notable players in the Hearthstone scene are currently using. By keeping tabs on these reports each month, you can stay up to speed on the current Paradigm list for the most powerful archetypes in the meta. This late into the post-Mean Streets meta, it's no surprise that some familiar faces are dominating the landscape. Aggro and Midrange Shaman, alongside Aggro Warrior leading the pack. Countering the aggression are Reno Warlock, Reno Mage, and Dragon Priest, and punishing these counters are the Jade archetypes. And settling into its frequently unique spot is Pirate Miracle Rogue. For an in-depth breakdown of these popular decks, be sure to check out the written guide for this Paradigm report. Let's shine the spotlight on some of the fresh builds in the recent meta. First up is the now popular Jade Shaman. Jade Shaman is more commonly seen in a mid-range archetype. Popularized by Life Coach and Super JJ, this list abandons Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem, opts for a few pirates to contest the first few turns, and then capitalizes in the mid-game with a punishing set of Jade finishers, including Jade Spirit and Jade Chieftain alongside Brand Bronzebeard. The deck is found in an optimized position in the meta. It can fend off aggro consistently, using pirates for the early game, and then Jinyu, Think From Below, and Jade Chieftain for closing out the fast matchups. But unlike former iterations of Midrange Shaman, it stands a much better chance in the denser matchups, presenting tough challenges for Reno Warlock, Dragon Priest, and Jade Druid. Some prefer a Jade mid-range list that still retains Trog and Golem, like Spark's list featured here. Trog and Golem take the spot of the pirates for the early game. On occasion, with overload synergies and such dense stats on turns 1 and 2, this type of list can still find the tools for an aggressive turn 6 or turn 7 lethal, while still able to fall back on a heavy Jade package to finish out games. Finally, some players have taken to control iterations of Jade Shaman. Here featured are VLPS's N'Zoth list and the Stancifka Paradox Control Jade list. These lists are much more reactive in playstyle and offer a much better matchup against Reno decks, and most importantly, against the mid-range Jade Shamans that are now frequenting the latter. Next up is a closer look at Anyfin Paladin. Anyfin Paladin has been one of the only true off-meta picks since the meta has settled down. Still very popular in tournaments, since favored matchups can be isolated, the deck can also hold its own on the ladder. Cards like Finja have brought consistency to Murloc development and have offered added power to the Barnes play in the list. If you're looking to play what stands as one of the few truly control-style decks left, strong win rates have been managed by several prominent players using Anyfin Paladin. Featured here is Tice's list, which sits closer to what is standard use in recent tournaments, and also Spark's list, which utilizes Wicker Flame, Adric, and Mistress of Mixtures for more flexibility and resilience to both aggro and Jade decks. Spark drops Ivory Knight as well, bringing even more reliability to the Barnes play. Lastly, let's take a closer look at Egg Druid. First theory crafted by Jackie Chan, the deck offers flexible viability against all the different types of decks in the meta currently. If unfamiliar, Egg Druid tries to flood the board early and overwhelmingly, using your usual suspects like Argent Squire, Living Roots, and Enchanted Raven. It also finds room for patches using Bloodseer Corsair as the activator. After establishing the early board, cards like Mark of the Lotus, Power of the Wild, and Defender of Argus land on tokens and minion-building eggs to overwhelm opponents. Soul of the Forest and Savage Roar are employed to seal the deal. Be sure to check out our written guide for this week's Pro Decks Paradigm Report, which features more deck lists and a closer look at some of the powerful archetypes right now. Also, if you're hoping to find more insight in piloting some of these decks, check out Good Gaming's deck guides in our written guides section. If you enjoy this series or have suggestions for how it can better serve the community in future segments, please let us know in the comments. And be on the lookout during Week 3 of this February season for our next Pro Decks Paradigm Report. Thank you for watching.